following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newy Scruggs.
All right, everybody, it's Friday, March 5th. The Players Lounge is here. This is a show where two former Dallas Cowboys safeties, Barry Church and Danny McCray, come together with their ideas and their disagreements. I am Newy Scruggs, the moderator of this. I've covered the Cowboys since those guys were toddlers. Since they were toddlers, man. They were toddlers. Let's just jump right to it, man. Let's just jump right to it. I need a yes or no. Is Dak's deal done by Tuesday, March 9th, when they have to, that's the final day, to slap the franchise tag on players in the National Football League? Danny?
I'm going to give you a definitive absolutely not. Come on, man. They're not about to fool me into thinking that all of a sudden this is going to get done when it's been in the making for, I don't know how many years. Nobody's budging. And now you got 1 week. Like if the deal was going to get done, they would have said, we would have been seeing stories about them being somewhere close to a deal. We're so far opposite of that right now that I just don't see it getting done in the next, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, and for me, I'm with you on that, D-Mac. I don't see anything getting done by the deadline especially. I think it's just going to be another franchise tag year for them. I don't think they can, the Joneses, and I don't think Dak's team, Todd France and those boys, I don't think they're going to come together on an agreement on a long-term deal. And I don't think it's going to get done by July 15th either. I think, to be all honest with you guys, I think Dak will be playing, if he does decide to play, I think he'll be playing on that franchise tag. And I think this will be the last of number 4, because I don't think he's going to go around for another go-around, because I think the tag next year is like 54 or something crazy like that. So to me, I don't think they'll get a deal done by March 9th, and I don't think they'll get it done by July 15th.
But do you think it's a possibility that there is no franchise tag given on the 9th? And it's, they just try to see if they get lucky, and Dak is one of those guys who wants to negotiate.
Ain't no way, man. If they don't tag that man, he's up out of here, man. And they don't have any other backup because, we were feeding that Kool-Aid. We were drinking that Kool-Aid last year, so we slipped back in the draft, and we don't have a high enough draft pick to get one of them top guys. And I don't think we have enough capital to trade away to get somebody. So for me, I think we're stuck right now, and I think we're stuck with this franchise tag.
Do you think that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, Church and Newy, that they would say, all right, Dak is going to be out there. He's going to be a free agent. And what we're going to do is we're going to see what price he's commanding on the market. And then we'll just pay $1 over that because we know he wants to stay here. And we'll still be saying we're going to make him the highest paid whatever based on whatever he's getting offered. Do you see that as being an option for the Cowboys?
Go ahead, Newy.
No, because the way you do that, you don't let him test free agency. You just put a transition tag and put the first round tender. And you see if somebody is willing to give him a deal and give you 2 first round picks for him, and then you can just match it, and then you've got the contract. So that way you're protected. If you let this guy go free, then you're not, you could be out. So you have to, this is the insurance. These tags are the insurance for you to try to keep the player. So I don't see any way that they do not use some type of tag, be it transition or franchise tag on Dak Prescott.
How much is so what is how does the transition tag work? How much is that? Like how much would they be committing to Dak?
All right, so I say I'm going to put a transition tag on Danny McCray of a first rounder. I'm going to tender him as a first round pick. So if the Bears want Danny McCray, they got to give me 2 first round picks. And so they got to give me 2 first round picks. Now they're going to have to give Danny McCray a contract. All right, Danny, we're going to sign you for 5 years and $125 million. Now the Cowboys, have the opportunity to match that contract. Or I could say, nah, I'm not going to match it. I'm going to take 2 first round picks. That's what you can do.
But I'm saying nobody offers Dak. Nobody offers anything for Dak. How much do the Cowboys have to pay him? So if it's like we put a transition tag on him, nobody's willing to give up those 2 first round picks. So Dak is going to be a Cowboy. How much do you have to pay Dak Prescott for having the franchise tag. I mean, the transition tag on him and still playing on your team. Yeah.
You know, that's a great question. I don't know.
I think it's 45 to be honest. I think it's 45, and I think the franchise on the third is 54.
Isn't is it the mix of? Well, that's the franchise. We're talking about the transition tag.
Okay.
Is it? I don't know if that's the mix of basically maybe they have to pay him the 37 on the transition tag. I don't know. It's a good question. That part I don't know. But ultimately, if you're the Cowboys, letting him, just back to the question, if you let him go free, you run the risk of him just leaving. Period. So to me, if you're the Cowboys, you got at least minimum. Do a transition tag if you're thinking, well, maybe we'll see if somebody will give us two ones for him. And honestly, I see somebody giving 2 ones for him. I do.
Woo!
I don't see it.
I don't know, man.
Yes.
2 ones.
I don't see it.
All right.
I mean, Dak is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's a good quarterback, great leader. But 2 ones?
He's coming off a broken ankle.
All right, I'll give you a team. I'll give you a team right here. Okay, this is all it takes is one team, right? There is a team whose general manager and head coach are going into the season in which they do not exactly have security. They let these two come back despite making the playoffs, and people are kind of like, we're shaky on them. And that's the Chicago Bears. If you're the Chicago Bears, you've already given up 2 ones for Khalil Mack. So clearly you value players more than picks. So if you'll give up that for a pass rusher, why wouldn't you do it for a quarterback in a town that does not have? I mean, you talk about a really sad place for quarterbacks through the years. It's Chicago, man. They just don't make Pro Bowl quarterbacks in Chicago. So to give up 2 ones for him, and this is the same franchise where they're kicking the GM for passing on Deshaun Watson, I'll give up 2 ones for Dak Prescott all day long and try to secure my job. And if I'm Matt Nagy, I'm in there too saying, yeah, give me Dak Prescott before I got to deal with Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky again.
Do you believe that Dak could do something with that team? I mean, I know they got a great defense over there. I mean, the secondary, D-line, all that is amazing. But offensively, do you think they have the weapons that Dak could make the most product out of that? I mean, because weapons-wise, offensively in Chicago, they're nowhere near what we have here in Dallas. So do you think that Dak has the talent and the wherewithal to lead that team throughout, even though their offensive talent is not as great as it is here?
You bring back Allen Robinson, you've got yourself one of the top 12 wide receivers in the game.
I would say he's a top fiver.
You've got David Montgomery. They decided to give him the football last year and run with him. So, but ultimately, if you're Dak at this point in time, you're going for the money, and you'll figure out some of this other stuff later on. But I'm just giving you a team. That's all you need is a team that says, okay, yeah, we'll do it. And if you're the Bears, giving up 2 ones for that guy, that ain't a crazy idea considering where the head coach and the GM are at. And you're living, right? Go back to this. And the Rams are proof of it. You're living year to year. Year to year. So if if you're the Bears right now, I mean, really, Nick Foles is your best option. I give up 2 ones for Dak Prescott in a New York minute if I'm the Bears.
I see it this way. All right, so the knock on Dak Prescott is he hasn't been able to take the Cowboys to the Super Bowl, and then we just named Allen Robinson and David Montgomery compared to CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Ezekiel Elliott, who we still haven't been able to make the Super Bowl with. So if you're the Bears, you look at it and saying, all right, if we get Dak coming off this ankle injury, we're not really sure what he's going to be. We're going to give up 2 first-round picks for him. I mean, it's a stretch, but like you said, those 2 guys are in a position to where they have to do whatever they can to keep their job. So it's possible. But me, for the Cowboys, what I was trying to get at was, you're in a situation to where if you franchise tag them, if we understand it correctly, you franchise tag them or transition tag them, you still on the hook for $37 million this year, right? At least, right? Because if no team, like let's say the Bears is like, nah, we gonna figure something else out. And nobody offers that. The Cowboys are on the hook for $37 million. So looking at it that way, you say, look, we're trying to figure out if we want to pay this dude the market price or $1 over, or are we still going to be on the hook for $37 million on our cap? I think that's a decision you got to make, and I don't think it's really that far-fetched for them to say, look, we'll see. We'll let them go out there and see how much somebody's going to pay them, and then we'll just outbid them.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to this. On the transition tag number, I'm not 100% sure of it. So I'm not don't quote me on it. I'm not sure exactly if he would get 37.7 on the transition tag. I'm not sure on that. But I do believe that if the Cowboys put him out there, and I'll give you another team, Carolina. Carolina's sitting here with a top 10 pick, and you're hearing them talk about possibly taking a quarterback. To me, if I'm a team like Carolina and I'm the head coach, Matt Rule, I got a 6-year contract. I'm also basically the de facto general manager. I'll use 2 picks because I got a young quarterback, a guy who can run this kind of system I want, and I got job security. So I could see Carolina. I just think that if you put Dak out there, he's the number 1 free agent. Okay, it's the number 1 free agent in football. He's going to find someone who will go ahead and give him pay the price, be it 2 first-round picks, or next year. Let's say the Cowboys get him franchise this year and he hits the market next year, and they don't franchise him because of $54 million. He's going to get his number, especially with this TV deal that's getting ready to happen. He's going to get his number. So it's just a matter if you're the Cowboys. When do you decide to stop digging? That's really, you're in a hole. Yeah, when do you decide to just drop the shovel? Right. When do you just decide to just stop digging this hole and just say, man, here you go. Here you go. Because the other option truly is, because you don't want to lose him next year and he just signs with, let's say he just signs with Chicago as a free agent next year and you get a 3. This is the time to do it, man. I mean, this is truly the hey, you got to do this now or you're going to have some problems.
Is the hole too deep?
If they don't get it now, if the Cowboys don't get this deal done now within this year, next year, I think we're all in agreement that they're not going to pay $54 million on another franchise tag. So I don't think he'll get the Kirk Cousins 3 years in a row franchise tag. But if they don't get this deal done, they risk the fact of losing him without getting anything in return. And that's why I said they have to get this deal done. Because if he just walks out scot-free, we're back at square one. And we're sitting there with Double G. And, I like Double G, but I don't think he got the juice like that yet. So, I think this is a deal they got to get done. But, fellas, I just don't see them coming together especially by March 9th. And definitely I don't think they'll get together by July 15th.
This is the conversation we keep having. And I think all 3 of us right now are a belief that there is not a deal done by Tuesday, March 9th, that we'll see the tag. And then the next questions become, how long do they let it go? Because free agency is going to hit. And if you've got to put the placeholder in for $37 million, basically $38 million, it limits a lot of what they can do to try and build this football team. And that's going to be, that's the challenge of it. And we've been watching this for going on 2 years now. It's a little bit frustrating. I know some people, you guys still talking about it again? Yeah, you're still talking about it again because I put this in our group chat earlier. When you look at the Cowboys, you ask yourself, what blueprint are you? What are you doing? Because I don't know what they're doing, honestly, when it comes to just their football team and the overall blueprint, because everybody's trying to build a team with a quarterback, a franchise quarterback. You seemingly have one. You say he's your franchise quarterback, but you haven't done it. I just don't understand the team building right now of having this happen and drag this out with your quarterback.
Yeah, I think this is a classic case of actions speak louder than words. Because all we've been hearing, like you said, Newy, for these past 2 years is, Dak is our guy. He's our bona fide franchise leader. There's no way we can go without Dak Prescott. But it's been 2 years, and we're continuously digging this hole deeper and deeper and deeper. We could have gotten out of this situation 2-3 years ago after he led his team to the playoffs in 2018. So to me, we could have got out of this situation. Dak would have been under contract. We're looking forward to building this defense. Now we're just digging hole after hole after hole, and we might risk losing him without getting anything in return, and that will put us back at square one. And Cowboys Nation would be upset about that one.
Newy and Church. Come on, man. I'm telling y'all asking where's the team going? What's the identity of the team? I'm going to go back to this. When we've had our best teams over the last 10 years, what was our team known for? We had the best offense. Man. No, listen, no joke. This is for real. We had the best offensive line, and our identity was to go out there, run power, run trap, run counter, and run play action. And that's how we won those games. And I think we're going to go back and try to do that again. That's why I'm telling you, 2020 was a crazy year. 2021 has started off as a crazy year. So I don't think it'll be that crazy for March 9th to come around and you see no franchise tag. And we have a real roller coaster of a ride trying to get Dak Prescott back on his roster.
Okay, Danny, I'm going to fight you on this one, okay? You talk about you think they're going to go back to that identity where they were a running football team. Mike McCarthy's never been a running football coach as a head coach. Green Bay, they threw the ball. He hasn't run the ball. That's just not his idea. And Kellen Moore's a play caller. When's Kellen Moore showed you that he wants to run it more than he wants to pass it?
Let me tell you something, Newy. When your job is on the line, you're going to figure out something that worked, all right? Mike McCarthy went into the barn. He came back out with some new stuff that didn't work. And I think that now he's seeing what he's going to have to do. And that recipe for success is being able to block. If he wants to pass, you got to be able to block. If you want to run, you got to be able to block. You got to fix the O-line. To me, it all goes back to being able to protect your quarterback, open up those holes for Zeke. You got a $90 million running back. He's going to run the ball. All right? You got to...
A $90 million fullback, That's what. No, I'm just messing around, man. I'm just messing.
That's what happened when your O-line look like that, man. When your O-line look like that, you're missing your two tackles,
We got the highest paid fullback since Larry Zonka out here, man.
No, man. You gonna call this man Mike Allstott? Come on, man. You ain't calling Allstott. Nah, he ain't no fullback, bro. He looked a lot quicker at the end of the season last year once those hamstrings got right. All right, I think he's gonna be he's gonna be the good Zeke this year if Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore give him a chance.
Ooh. I'm not going to be drawn offside anymore from this, Danny McCray. I'm just not. I'm not going to let you draw me offside. So we're going to take a break right now. Right here on the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com. When we come back, other quarterback news. Did Washington owe Alex Smith anything since they cut him? Ben Roethlisberger reduces his salary. And is Russell Wilson getting souped up on himself and his talents? Let's dive into the quarterback issues across this league, and we'll get back into the Cowboys, and we'll try to fix this defense and decide what's more important, the front end or the back end. Players Lounge ahead right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Adjust your cleats, adjust your pads, even adjust your helmet. But seriously, don't adjust your underwear, because once it's seen, it cannot be unseen. Tommy John's fabric keeps you cool and dry on the field or in the stands, and now they even have loungewear. Yeah, loungewear. Shop underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 15% off your first order. That's TommyJohn.com/Cowboys.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Grab some OtterBox gear and get ready for hanging with the boys. From rugged venture coolers to tough-as-nails elevation tumblers, we've got what you need to keep your game day drinks frosty and your football feast ice cold. And with cases, screen protectors, and power accessories, you can defend your phone and stay connected to every play. Gear up at OtterBox.com and amp up the fun of every Cowboys game. That's OtterBox.com.
Is your family a Cowboys family? Have you taken holiday photos at the Star? Was your wedding theme blue and silver? Have you convinced your kids them is spelled with a D? If so, every game day feels like a vacation to you, so treat it like one. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Hey, get the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate Cowboys fan. Join Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, starting at just $20. Join now and get your exclusive fan pack and member benefits. Visit DallasCowboys.com/United for details. You're in the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com. Newy Scruggs, longtime Cowboys reporter, joined by two former Dallas Cowboys safeties, Barry Church and Danny McCray. All right, guys, some quarterback news across the NFL besides just Dak Prescott. Alex Smith has been cut by the Washington football team. He saves the team. The team saves $15 million by letting him go. Does that sit right with you guys that the comeback player of the year is gone, Church?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to say yeah on this one. I don't think, Washington as a team, I don't think they owed him anything. It was a great story, though. I mean, I put it that way. It was a great story about a guy, coming back from a gruesome injury. I mean, the guy had over 17 surgeries on that leg of his, and he just battled back into to get back to a game that he loves. It was a great story, and Washington gave him an opportunity to do that. They gave him an opportunity to come back, try to help this team get to the playoffs, which they did, and gave him an opportunity to play the game after coming back from a gruesome injury. So I think they did a great justice by him doing that. But going forward, I think this team is trying to upgrade. They're trying to get this team to the next level. They have a great defense over there, especially in that front seven. And I think what they need on offense is they need a little bit more production out of their quarterback position. And I think they need to do that. And I don't think Taylor Heineke is the answer. So I think we'll get another quarterback in there for sure. But I think they did a great justice by Alex Smith allowing him to come back after those gruesome injuries, but I don't think they owe him anything. Maybe after he's done, if he retires and wants to come back and be a QB coach or something like that, or quality control, they might open the doors for that. But as far as playing and continuing his NFL career in Washington, I don't think they owed him anything, and I think they did a great justice by him.
Yeah, I agree with Church on most of it. I hadn't really been in depth on the story. I know he was a little frustrated with, I think he felt a little pressured to play at one point, even though he wasn't really confident that his leg and stuff was okay. So I would say minus that, the fact that they did keep him on the roster and give him an opportunity to play, they gave him a shot. And I lost all of my surprise with this type of stuff and thinking that this couldn't happen to anybody once Peyton Manning was out of Indianapolis. Once I saw that, I knew that nobody was safe. So I think they gave him a shot, and he wasn't Peyton Manning, so he got a little bit more than that. So shout out to them for giving a shot, but they saved them $14 million. Now it's time to move on and find you a real quarterback. You got rid of Haskins. Heineke's not the answer. Now you're getting rid of Alex Smith. It's time for you to point forward and find you the guy.
Washington now has $50 million in cap money to spend. The Pittsburgh Steelers told Ben Roethlisberger, we're not going to pay you $41 million in 2021. He ends up reducing his money to $14 million to play for the Steelers this upcoming season. McCray, good move?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, where were the Pittsburgh Steelers going without Ben Roethlisberger? They saved some money. They brought a guy back who's been leading their franchise for over a decade now, and you're going to give him another shot. I mean, as long as you put a running game there with him and you don't ask him to throw the ball 50 or 60 times during the season, during one game, I think that he can still be productive. Play defense, get a running game, and let him go out there and be Big Ben and make some big-time throws, timely big-time throws. And I think they could be successful. I mean, they won, 13, 14 games this year? So they're not far off.
Yeah, to me, I think they didn't have any other choice. I think they picked too late in the draft to go ahead and get a quarterback that they can get moving forward. And to me, they got to address this position next year. This got to be the last year for Big Ben on the Steelers team, because he can't push the ball down the field. He reminds me of what we saw in Drew Brees, especially in the playoff game, when teams were just hugging the line of scrimmage because they knew he couldn't push the ball down the field. And when you don't have a running game, and look, I don't think James Conner, I don't think he's the answer at all. They need to address that running game. But when you don't have a running game and all you do is spread out the ball, these teams, these defenses, they got smart over time. They said, hey, look, this guy's not pushing it down the field. He has weapons out there to get it down there, but he just doesn't have the arm strength to get it out there. So all they're doing is dinking, dunking, and substituting that for a run game. So they just went ahead, hugged the line of scrimmage. He couldn't do anything throughout the end of the season, and especially in the playoffs. So for me, they didn't have another option because they didn't pick high enough, and I didn't see them trading for anybody like that. So they had to bring Big Ben back for one more year. But overall, they got to adjust this next year because he can't push the ball down the field. His elbow's injured. I think we've seen the last of him after this year.
Oh,
I think Pittsburgh Steelers messed up.
Yep.
Why?
Well, I just think overall this team has so many financial issues that they can't put together a team that contends for the Super Bowl. I just don't see it. And then the other issue is the way, and I go piggyback on what Church said, it's the way Ben Roethlisberger plays. Ben Roethlisberger doesn't want to get behind center. He wants to drop back and just pass. And we've clearly seen this is not the identity for them to win a championship. Juju Smith is going to be a free agent, not a guy I would pay a lot of money. James Conner's a free agent, not a guy I would pay a lot of money. Your center, Marquise Pouncey is going to retire. You have other O-line issues here. To me, this is the perfect time to just say goodbye to Ben Roethlisberger and just hit a reset button and just say, you know what, we got to take this for a year and just get our team retooled. You're trying to put Band-Aids on stuff. I just don't see enough Band-Aids to fix his team. You got to pay T.J. Watt. Bud Dupree, another client of Dak Prescott's agent, Todd France, he ended up getting hurt with a torn ACL. So what do you do with him in terms of a contract here? The salary cap's going down. They got cap issues all over the place. I just think this is the time to almost be like Philadelphia, just say, you know what, we're going to tap out on 2021, and we'll see you here in 2022.
Wow.
I agree.
What? Why though? Hold on, wait. That Philadelphia season versus the Steelers season were totally different. All right. At one point, this team was undefeated. They had Super Bowl aspirations. They could not find a running game, and it didn't end off well for them. They went to the playoffs. They had a good defense. I don't think it's time to rebuild. Listen, if that was the Cowboys and they had the season that the Pittsburgh Steelers had, you would not be saying, hey, man, yeah, it's time to rebuild just because our quarterback, whatever. You'd be like, you know what, we were this close. So we just need to fix a few things, put a Band-Aid on it, and if that Band-Aid could get us to the Super Bowl, then we could think about moving on from Big Ben after that. They were too close, and they were a solid team for you to just say, hey, man, I think we should start rebuilding.
That's fine.
Do you think Big Ben's arms going to get stronger?
Lie to yourself.
Like, do you think he's going to be able to push the ball down the field next year?
Listen. I know at points in time in the season, especially at the end, he wasn't. But don't forget, man, you had Claypool on your team, and that dude was going deep all season. All right, so Big Ben can do it. I mean, he was coming off the elbow surgery, so this year to me was a little scratch. He's making $14 million. Find a cheaper quarterback that could do that. All right, they were winning games. Y'all act like they were like 2-14 last year. We were sitting there like wondering when they were actually going to lose because they were almost going undefeated for the whole season. So I mean, it ain't time to rebuild. They're close.
Like I said,
they're close.
If you want to lie to yourself, that's okay. I know this. If you're Pittsburgh, if you're Cleveland and Baltimore, you're happy to see Ben Roethlisberger come back. You're good. You're good with that.
They got Baker Mayfield. They got Baker Mayfield. All right, so don't be talking about like Cleveland is just all that. All right, they had a year. Baker Mayfield still on their squad.
Yeah, boy, LSU boy, he gonna come back tonight.
But Cincinnati they got a lot of work to do. They got to get their O-line right too. But yeah, Joe Burrow is up and coming. But no, Pittsburgh they were a good team last year. They won games. It's hard to win games, no matter, especially when you like you said, they didn't have a running game. They couldn't block. You said Big Ben elbow was messed up. And how many games did they win last year?
What they win last? I think they won 12-4, right?
Was exposed in the second half of the year.
The
Cowboys almost beat them with Garrett Gilbert. Okay, so
double G, baby.
If you want to believe, if you want to let you lie to yourself, Danny, go ahead. But this team and this organization, when you look at the salary cap and you look at the cap issues and the free agents they have, they're not going to be able to even put together the same team they had last year. And they've got an identity crisis and a quarterback who doesn't want to change.
That's crazy. Right, we sitting over. Well, we sitting over here talking. We are a podcast for the Cowboys who went 7-9. We over here critiquing the team that went 13-3 or 12-4, talking about what they need to do. Come on, man. We would do anything we could.
Quarterback. They got an aging quarterback.
We don't have a quarterback. We don't have.
We got one. We got one for at least one more year, man. We got one for at least one more
week. One more week. We got one. What are you talking about? We got one more week.
We got one, man.
All right. Okay. So let us move on. Since we've been talking about quarterbacks, all right, we talked about the show, then we talked about quarterbacks, so we've gone through Dak, Alex Smith, Big Ben. Now let's talk about Russell Wilson. There's been a lot of stuff that's been put out there, okay, a lot of stuff. And I don't know how much of it is true because it's some of the silly season and people just need stories. I saw where there was one tweet and a bunch of things said, Seahawks shopping Russell Wilson. And then they attributed Diana Rossini of ESPN as one of the people who said it. But then Diana Rossini comes out with a tweet a little bit later on. It says that the Seahawks were getting phone calls. That they weren't making them, that people were calling them about Russell Wilson. So trying to figure that whole situation out. But we understand this. Russell Wilson thinks that he is a better quarterback and being held back by the Seahawks. That much is real clear. And to hear some people tell it, Russ thinks that he is a top quarterback, a top 10 quarterback all time. And that they're hurting him. That they are hurting him. So Russ, it seems like Russ is souped up on himself that, hey, man, I need to be cooking and you holding me back. So I need to go somewhere that's going to hold me back. Your thoughts that Russ may think he's a better chef than what he is there, McCray?
Listen, he, if you look at the history of Russell Wilson, he got the right to think that he is as good as anybody that he's seen on TV or that is playing right now. If you think about Russell over the last, 6-7 years, every year we've been saying, man, look at the stuff that Russell Wilson is doing. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He did throw the pick, for them to lose, and Pete Carroll should have ran that ball. But I mean,
yeah, he lost it. He lost the game.
He's been at the top of the game and one of the top quarterbacks in the league for an extended period of time. So let's not act like he don't have the right to say, you know what? I think if I had this, and that, I would be better. My numbers would be better, and our team would be going a little further. If that's what he believes, then I'm fine with it. I don't know about top 10 all time. I didn't hear him say that.
Hell nah.
But I mean, if you look at the quarterbacks in the league today, he's at the top of the list. I mean, he's not number 1, but he's in that top echelon of guys.
Look, say it with your chest, Russell Wilson. My guys out here saying, hey, I need this, I need that. I'm top 10. But to me, man, if you think about it, if you look about when he was going to those back-to-back Super Bowls, when they were rolling back in the day, when they were rolling, he wasn't cooking like that. He had an amazing defense. He had the Legion of Boom that held those guys in games. They were running the ball a lot. And yeah, Russell Wilson made plays here and there, but I don't think back when they were winning Super Bowls, we would have considered him a top 10 quarterback at the time. So for me, I'm saying he was cooking when he had that great defense. After that, we haven't seen much from Russell Wilson. We've seen stats. We've seen him put up numbers and have an MVP type season here and there. But overall, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't been able to put this team on the map like it has back when he had a defense. When he doesn't have a defense, he's just a stat pattern for me. So for him to go out there and say, I need this, that, and the third, and you guys are holding me back, I don't really agree with him too much on that one. When he's talking about I get hit too much and I'm getting sacked too much, let's not forget that half of the time Russell Wilson's back there running around when he has a pocket. He's not stepping up in the pocket. He's going around making plays and trying to extend plays. And yes, it works sometimes, but also he gives himself up and he gets sacked sometimes. So I don't think it's all on the offensive line. I think he did them a disservice by kind of throwing them under the bus and putting that out there in the media. I think he should have handled that more in-house. But overall, for him to say that, he's top 10 and I need this and that and the third, I think he's feeling himself a little bit too much. And I think the Seahawks should, listen to calls from people on him.
Oh, man, that was strong. Their O-line has been garbage for a while, though. So, I mean, I can understand this frustration. They've been trying to trade with they made a trade with the Texans. And, every year is something with them trying to figure out a way to get their O-line, in shape and make Russell Wilson happy. They just have not been able to do it, man. Hey, I harken back to that O-line, Newy. That O-line, man, is very important. It's very important, man, to have a healthy guys on your O-line who you can depend on the whole season.
Well, another issue about their offensive line is they haven't hit. They used a draft pick on the kid out of Texas A&M because it's Jermaine Ifedi, but I may have the name wrong there, but they used a first-round pick on a guy who didn't pan out. One year they decided to draft Rashad Penny with a first-round draft pick, running back out of San Diego State with Chris Carson on the football team. Would they have not been better off to take another shot at trying to improve their offensive line? So they've not taken care of the position. They drafted wrong, and Russ has every reason to be upset about that. But to me, it's really clear that the quarterback and the head coach have different ideas about what the offense needs to be. Can't cut him this year. It's going to cost you $40 million. So it's something that they'll have to address maybe the season after this, but I don't see it getting done right now. Let's take another break right here. When we come back to our SWBC Mortgage Home Studios, we will ask the question, is Amari Cooper a top 10 wide receiver? Also, who do you pair on the opposite side of D-Law, of Diggs, of Gallimore? Who should be the third linebacker with Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch? We tried to come up with names. Next, right here on the Players Lounge on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Grab some OtterBox gear and get ready for hanging with the boys. From rugged venture coolers to tough as nails elevation tumblers, we've got what you need to keep your game day drinks frosty and your football feast ice cold. And with cases, screen protectors, and power accessories, you can defend your phone and stay connected to every play. Gear up at OtterBox.com and amp up the fun of every Cowboys game. That's OtterBox.com.
How great would it be to travel to watch the Cowboys win on another team's turf? Pretty great. But honestly, just watching the game from anywhere but your house would be fun. Even a hotel bar with some guy named Phil from St. Louis who thinks Oakland still has a team. So whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Adjust your cleats, adjust your pads, even adjust your helmet, but seriously, don't adjust your underwear because once it's seen, it cannot be unseen. Tommy John's fabric keeps you cool and dry on the field or in the stands, and now they even have loungewear. Yeah, loungewear. Shop underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 15% off your first order. That's TommyJohn.com/Cowboys.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Supercross experienced the most competitive and highest profile off-road motorcycle racing championship in the world when the Monster Energy AMA Supercross returns to AT&T Stadium March 13th, 16th, and 20th. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they sell out at SeatGeek.com. You're in the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com. By the way, Shannon Gross, just want you to know, I saw you hanging with the boys. You guys got all these boxes of Snickers sent your way, man. Got the brownie Snickers, got the almonds, got a whole thing, man. You can't throw it.
Don't forget about your boys. Don't forget about your boys on the Players Lounge. We need some of that.
Share the wealth.
Share the wealth, man. Jeez.
Right, man. Be a teammate, baby. Be a teammate.
Supposed to be
man.
a family out here, Shannon.
I know, man. I know. They got everything. Remember that day we were out there doing that, doing the show outside the Star at the Tostitos Championship Plus, and man, you look up, man, hanging with the boys. They had Tommy John underwear. They had the wings from Wingstop. They had Papa John's pizza. Man, they had everything. What do we have?
They had Yeti coolers. Man, they had everything, man.
We didn't even get a pack of beer. We got one beer. They had one beer left over on the table. Hey, grab that. You got it.
They wanted to take the heaters from us too. Luckily, we got the heater. They wanted to take them out.
And they had the Tiff Streets cookies. So all we had was leftovers, man. So I'm just saying, Shannon, man, those a small little bone here. All right, Players Lounge. A question topic we talked about here is on our group chat to see where we went with the show today. Is Amari Cooper a top 10 wide receiver? That was the question asked. So, Church, I'll start with you on this one.
For me, honestly, man, I think he's a great wide receiver. He runs good routes and all that good stuff. He's dependable, but home games he's dependable. I'm gonna have to say he is not a top 10 receiver. I don't know if it has to do with the offense not tailored towards him or not getting the ball enough or he's not winning on his routes enough. But from what I see, he just doesn't jump off the tape like other receivers do in the NFL. I can name 10, off the top of the noggin that I believe are better than Amari Cooper. So I give him top 15, but top 10 as of right now, I'm gonna have to say no. I'm gonna have to pass on my boy.
Yeah, I'm with you, Church. I was sitting here counting them up right now, and I got the 10 pretty quickly.
Real quick.
So I mean, you just start listening to Metcalf and Hopkins and Adams, and the list can just continue to go on, and you just like Amari Cooper is behind these guys. I don't think his offensive coordinator is doing him any favors. His quarterback, being injured, also didn't do him any favors this season, and his health also hasn't done him any favors. But I think if he's 100% healthy, he can inch his way back in there if he has Dak Prescott. But as of right now, he's not top 10. He's a solid receiver, but he just hasn't showed up in those big time moments enough for him to be top 10.
Is he the best receiver on the team?
Yes.
Yeah, I give him that.
Yes.
I give him that. It's close. It's close.
All right.
CD, because CD is a rookie now. He's going to continue to get better, but I think he has the big playability, just like Amari Cooper, and you can get him the ball a bunch of different ways.
All right. This was my top 9 here: Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, Allen Robinson. And that was my top 9. Then I sat here and I looked at where Cooper fit in here. I see Keenan Allen, and then it's not enough production. It was just 1 year, but Justin Jefferson, pretty heck of a talented wide receiver. And why I think I can put Cooper in this list, I look at what happened to Oakland when he left. The Raiders and Derek Carr, problems. I mean, they're trying to run Derek Carr out of town. So you clearly saw what he did. And when he came to the Cowboys, people like me were saying, hey, man, the Cowboys are 3-5. You need to fire Jason Garrett. Cooper comes on this football team. They end up making the playoffs. He ends up making a Pro Bowl. So I've watched a guy who's helped save a franchise's season here. Danny, you are 100% right, and you banged it all year long. They do not utilize this player the way he should be used for the $100 million they give him. So is he a top 10 receiver? I think he's a top 10 receiver. I don't think he's used in a way that we see, these other guys, a Robinson. I mean, here's a guy who keeps catching balls from bums and still putting up numbers, but they throw it to him. The same thing when you look at Adams and Hopkins and Hill and Evans. They just don't utilize him in this fashion. And to me, it makes my mind boggle. And I look at Keenan Allen, too. I think I see Keenan Allen and I think of Amari Cooper a lot of the same way, where these are two guys who are really sensational, and you kind of look at their overall careers. They've been consistent in terms of production, but they've also battled health issues as well.
Who's the receiver out there in Tennessee? Is it A.J. Brown?
A.J. Brown and Corey Davis.
Yeah, listen. As of last year, I would have put them two right up there with Amari Cooper. Maybe one of them ahead. They made some really big plays, and when you turn on SportsCenter, you turn on the games, you seen them really impacting the game.
I would be interested to see what his win percentage is. Like when he's going on routes, like I want to see if he's really getting open like that, or if guys are just putting them hands on him. That's something I really want to see when it comes to Amari Cooper out there.
When you talk about Brown, and one reason why I didn't put A.J. Brown in there versus Cooper and Keenan Allen and some of these other guys, I look over at the career production here. Brown's had 2 really nice years. And it's almost the same case. But I did put DK Metcalf here, and he's had a short career, but my gosh, that guy is. I love some DK Metcalf and what he can bring. And A.J. Brown's a good player too. But that's one reason why I put a guy like Cooper in there ahead of Brown is when I look at the overall production. I mean, guys, he saved Jason Garrett's job. The Cowboys ended up going on that fantastic run when he got here. And then you look at the Raiders and what happened to them. The Raiders are still looking for a receiver, a number 1 guy. I mean, it was Nelson Aguilar ended up being a guy that they were counting on last year. So Amari Cooper can play. I just don't feel like he's gotten enough chances. And that's one where I got to give you, Danny, all the credit, because you kept banging this home. Why isn't this guy getting the ball? Why isn't he getting the ball like a Stephon Diggs is getting the ball in Buffalo? It's just a problem with the Cowboys and how we have issues with the way they've given $190 million to Zeke and Cooper, and they don't give them the ball enough.
Is he better than Thielen?
Nope.
Yes.
I mean, no.
No.
Yes.
Listen,
we're
not going to continue to talk about him saving Jason Garrett, and all that stuff because he had that. That don't count. He been clamped down. Church, what you call him? Away game disappearing. Come on, now. Let's not. Listen, he made some big time plays that season, but we've had to knock on him injury wise, and when he plays in away games.
Okay. My thing with Thielen, and I'll go back to Thielen, just the way I talk about guys like Allen Robinson. When they give you the ball, then you go have the opportunity. They don't give them enough of the ball. That's my issue with it. All right, now you got me sitting up here looking at the stats here, and where do I get Thielen? Thielen here, 74 for 108? No. Yeah, Thielen. 108 targets right here. Look at it for him. Thielen, 108 targets, 74 catches, 924 yards.
How many touchdowns?
Where? Touchdowns.
Yeah, he was up there on the TDs. I think he had like 11.
He had some TDs.
He had 14. He had 14.
Yeah. So let's make sure we get the whole context of Thielen's stats. All right, and he playing across from Justin Jefferson.
And they throw the ball. I mean, they actually throw him the ball. So we're looking at the targets here, and I'm trying to find Cooper here. Okay, Amari Cooper targets 130, 92 catches, had 1,114 yards, 5 touchdowns. So had more catches than Thielen, had more targets than Thielen, had more yards than Thielen. Thielen had him in touchdowns.
Almost doubled him. Oh, he did double him. Almost tripled him.
Now, wait. Who was throwing to Cooper last year? Thielen at least had Kirk Cousins. He had a legitimate quarterback. What?
Come on, Newy. How many times do we look at the game and say the man wasn't even in the game? He's on the sideline. All right, so we can talk about he didn't get targets a lot, but even when Jason Garrett was there on 4th down, we was like, why is Cooper not in the game? All right, so let's not pump the brakes a little bit. All right, the man still had 130 targets. He had Thielen had almost 3 times as many touchdowns as Amari Cooper.
As young Coop.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear it. All right, Thielen is better than Amari Cooper if we're going by what they put on the field, especially last year.
And last year we had Andy Dalton, we had Double G. We had the new
Go to the year before then. Go to the year before.
You sat up there and talked about the O-line, right? So now you're forgetting everything you've been beating up on the O-line. Now it don't count.
Go to the year before. Go to the year before. Go to the year before.
Hey, dude, you got a little something on there right there, dude. You said the O-line don't count now.
Go to the year before, though. Go to the year before and look at Thielen and Amari Cooper.
All right, let me sit up here and go.
And that year, Thielen was on the fly. Was battling with Stephon Diggs too,
and he was balling.
Thielen's real though. Thielen's the real deal. Like Thielen's the real deal. He just don't get the credit for it.
Give him his credit, Newy. Newy tried to take the credit away from him to try to hype up Amari Cooper when we've been talking about the man not showing up on away games for 2 seasons. Come on, man.
Okay. You want 2019? 2019. All right, so 2019, Thielen had 6 touchdowns, 418 yards, and caught 30 passes. Yes, because I had him on my fantasy team.
Okay, all right.
I had him on my fantasy team.
Bad year for he was ready for that too. He was ready. He knew. He was
ready for that one. Yeah, I see you, Newy.
How many touchdowns did Cooper have? How many touchdowns Amari Cooper had that year?
Oh,
okay.
Man.
Hold on.
He was real that year. Amari Cooper was real last year.
He made the Pro Bowl. He made the Pro Bowl. So let me just go ahead. 2019. You go with 2019. 2019, Cooper had 8 touchdowns, 1,189 yards, caught 79 passes. That good enough for you?
Hold on.
Did I answer your question? Did I answer your question?
So Thielen was hurt most of the year. Had 6 touchdowns. You said 6 touchdowns, and Coop had 8. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I'm just checking. All right, listen. Thielen to me is better than Cooper. His stats will say it when they playing the full season. He just is.
Okay. If that's what you, I'm not fighting you, man. You have your ideas. I have my ideas. That's the beauty of doing this show. I already told you.
Who you picking on your fantasy football team? Who you picking on your fantasy football team next year? Or Cooper or Thielen?
Who we got at quarterback, man? We got to know who we got at quarterback.
I'll be trying to go for. I'll probably take Stephon Diggs. I'll probably take somebody who's already on my list.
Two options. I gave you two options.
On my list right here. What round? What round am I in? There's a whole bunch of things that factors when I go into how I pick my receivers here.
Hey, you see Church, he dancing again. He dancing again.
Yeah, tell me who the quarterback is. So let us move on to another topic here that we had, because we run out of time. Okay, we run out of time. I'm trying to sit here and let you have your jollies here. I'm trying to get all the topics you brought in here. All right, trying to fix this defense. What's more important, the back or the front? McCray, what's more important here, fixing this D?
I'm going front end, man. We got, listen, the big thing you got to be able to do is, we talked about this at the beginning of the season last year. If you cannot stop the run, you cannot have a successful defense. If they can run the ball on you 5 yards a carry, then you have no shot at winning that game. And that came to fruition this season. We watched it happen. We watched Cleveland come in there and mash it down our throat for like 300 yards. And Washington did the same thing. And team after team just came in and punished us in the run game. So I think it's the front.
Yeah, I'm about to go with you on this one. I believe it's the front end. Even though I've been in the back end, my whole career, the front end is where it's at. I mean, I think I believe that ever since I saw that Super Bowl with Eli and them boys, when they had, Strahan, Tuck, and Canty and all those boys on the D-line. They made Tom Brady's life hell in that Super Bowl. And I think from that moment on, people have started to build their defenses from the front end to the back. Because like McCray said, if you can't stop the run, if you let guys just go straight up the gut on you, we've seen what happened. This year is an example for our defense. We were historically bad because offenses were able to pick their poison against us. Do we want to run up the middle for 150 yards, or do we want to throw the ball on the outside? We weren't able to stop either of those, and that results in a historically bad defense. So overall, I think the front end, the front seven, has got to be the strength of your defense. It gets after the quarterback. It rushes these guys up, and that's what causes turnovers. When quarterbacks are overthrown or you get tip passes and all that stuff, that's how you get turnovers, and that's how you become a better defense. And I think it starts with the D-line, and that's something that we got to get better at. Because right now, I mean, we got D-Law, but other than that, I don't know. And even D-Law had a rough season last year, so we got to get that front end taken care of. But I believe you build your defense from the front to the back.
Hall of Famer Warren Sapp said it best. The back don't work without the front. That's his exact quote. The back don't work without the front. And this defense, a lot of it, you go back and you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was about the steel curtain and what they did at the front. And then, they had some tremendous guys like Mel Blount and Donnie Shell in the back. Even with the Cowboys, their Super Bowl teams of the 90s, they were very good up front. They had a good back too, but it does start up front. Dan Quinn is a D-line coach. At the 10 spot, unfortunately for the Cowboys, there's not really there's no Aaron Donald up there. There's no big pass rusher. There's no Bosa. There's no Chase Young in that top 10 for the Cowboys. So the corner position will probably be rated higher than anybody on the D-line. But I also look at this for the Cowboys. This is going to be probably a 2-year process of trying to put together all the things that Dan Quinn is going to want within this defense to try and make it work. So you definitely got to look at the front, and maybe that's where they start off in free agency. And maybe you look at Leonard Williams, who's a free agent with the Giants. I don't know, but you definitely got to look at the front and try to fix it. But at 10, right now, if they stay at 10, you're probably going to have an ability to draft a guy that's more highly rated in the back end, a J.C. Horn, a Patrick Surtain Jr., those kind of guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. No, it's going to take a little bit of time, maybe 2 to 3 years, because like we said earlier, man, the carpenter needs his tools. And when Dan Quinn was rolling in Seattle with those boys in Legion of Boom, he had guys like KJ Wright who can cover as a linebacker. He had Wagner who was sideline to sideline and could tackle anything. Yep. He had Cliff Averill and those boys, Earl Thomas controlling the back end, the Punisher, Cam Chancellor in there, solid corners with Sherman and Brown. He had a lot of tools at his display, and he was able to play that simple defense where it's just like, look, it's either cover 3 or it's cover 1. We need y'all to go out there and eat. And he had the tools. He had the players to do so. And I don't think we have that specifically right now on this defensive side of the ball. So I think we need to hit in this draft, maybe again next year and draft a free agency before we really get to see Dan Quinn's full defense on display. But hopefully he'll get to that point, because if we go out there and get ramshacked this whole next year, man, they might blow up the whole ship. So we'll see.
Well, I got to ask y'all then. So, who are y'all not comfortable with right now? That's currently that we consider to be a starter next year. That's currently on the roster. Because I mean, 2 to 3 years, you looking at you needing another linebacker is what it sounds like. We're going to need another corner, a safety, and someone on the D line. And we said that right now we have LVE, we got Jaylen Smith, we got Tank, we got Randy Gregory, we got Thomas, and we have Diggs. And we got Brown. So who is it that needs to leave? I'm trying to figure out who all needs to be replaced before you guys say, all right, Dan Quinn has enough now. After 2 years, he has who he wants in every position, and now he should be successful.
For his defense, I think we need, and I don't know, you can either go 1A or 1B on this, but I think we need an interior defensive lineman, and I think we need somebody in that linebacker core that can cover. Because if you think about it, back in that Seattle defense, when they had KJ Wright on that tight end, that allowed Cam Chancellor to free up and kind of be that low rat player, that instinctful player that can either rob, slants, or punish people on the run. We need someone like that can cover. And right now, our linebackers are a liability in coverage. And they've been getting exposed all last year when it comes to running backs, isolating them. So I think we need somebody that can cover on that front end side. But interior defensive line as well is a big need, or we're going to get gashed left and right.
Danny, I've said this before. They need help at all three levels. At all three levels. How they decide to get that help, that's going to be very interesting. And that also comes in that whole Dak Prescott contract where, man, if you could get that thing signed, then it's going to free up some dollars for you to go out and get some more help here. Barry, you've hit on a bunch of things. We spoke about Ricardo Allen, who's a free agent who Quinn had in Atlanta, that he needs somebody to quarterback the back end of the defense. And people bring up Donovan Wilson. And I've got nothing against Donovan Wilson. I think Donovan Wilson could be a player that can help you, but he's not that guy. He's not the Allen. He's not the Earl Thomas guy. You got to try to find that guy. You already talked about the linebackers. I mean, dude, I'm not ready to sit up here and say, hey, all right, here's Tristan Hill as a starter. No, he's coming off an ACL. He's not ready to go. Nevin Gallimore had a nice rookie year, but I'm not ready to say, hey, look, this is that guy. They've got to fix those issues right up front there. And to me, I wouldn't sign Aldon Smith back. I don't know if Aldon Smith is going to fix his defense and the kind of price tag that Aldon Smith may ask for. I would rather spend that money on a guy who's an interior lineman like a Leonard Williams and plug him up in here and see what he can help me do.
Plus, with that Aldon Smith, I think if we bring Aldon Smith in there, I think that's just holding back Randy Gregory and not letting Randy Gregory reach his full potential. I think he can give us a better option than Aldon Smith out there. So I say we let him ride.
Amen.
Listen, and I'm with y'all 100%. We need to get the defense fixed. All right. Even though I talk about O-line, I really want to see that get fixed. Dan Quinn needs his tools. But y'all remember when we listed all these players that Dan Quinn had. All right, and we need to get. He had this person when he was there. He had this person. He had that person. We're talking about, in some cases, all-time great players. All right, so him realistically being able to get those type of players at each one of those positions, I don't think is that likely. So,
okay.
We have to look and see. Dan Quinn has to find players that really fits his scheme versus trying to, replace a Earl Thomas, replace a Cam Chancellor, replace a Richard Sherman. Because at the end of the day, when those guys retire, most of those guys are going to be up for the Hall of Fame, because they had those type of careers. So, we got to be realistic in saying these are the guys that we're trying to find.
But at the same time, he did some of those things in Atlanta, where you had a Grady Jackson up front on the D-line. And that was a productive player. So Allen was a guy who was a safety, was running things back there. So we may have to kind of look more at the Atlanta model of what he was doing, because the GM, Thomas Dimitroff, put a lot of resources on offense and spent a lot of draft capital on the offense. So that's where we spoke about before. Maybe you try to find who are some guys that used to play for him that kind of understand the scheme a little bit. But that to me is where they got to go. Want to touch another topic here before we get out of here that you guys have brought up here. Who plays opposite of D-Law, in your opinion? Where do you go? McCray?
Yeah.
In your world.
No. In my perfect world, we would have T.J. Watt opposite of
Thank you.
Of D-Law. And, the fact that we actually could have had him is crazy. But, yeah, in my perfect world, that's who I'm putting out there. But what we have now, I got faith in Randy Gregory. If he has a full, healthy season and he's able to stay on the right track, I have faith in his potential and what he's able to do. But perfect world, Newy, TJ Watt all day.
I'm with you. That was what I was going to say.
Yeah, perfect world. You got to go with TJ Watt, maybe even a Shaq Barrett out there. But without being it perfect, I think I'm with McCray on this one. I think we got what we need in Randy Gregory. I think towards the end of the season, he started to go in the right direction as far as trending in the right direction. The guy was getting sacks. He was forcing fumbles. I think he's long and wiry and able to do a lot of things at that defensive position. So I think we got what we need out there, and maybe we just need some depth pieces now.
I'm with you on that. I'd let Smith walk, go with Gregory, and hope that in a contract year, Dorrance Armstrong becomes one hellacious player. All right, who's the third linebacker opposite LVE and Jaylen Smith?
First of all, go ahead, Church.
No, you got it, McCray.
Oh, listen, perfect world. I'm going my LSU guy, Devin White. That's very easy for me. He's a young, high potential talent, and we saw what he could do in the Super Bowl. Right now, man, I don't know, because it just depends to me on what type of defense that you're running, right? Because in my mind, I don't think you're going to have three linebackers out there that often. So I think you need a really, really good nickelback. You need a guy who can get in there and make some tackles, fill some gaps, and you need a guy who can cover. So I think we just have to find a guy who's able to do all that, because there's going to be a lot of 11 personnel coming around here. So we won't be seeing a lot of base defense.
For me, perfect world, I'm going with that same Tampa team, but I'm going to go with the other linebacker, Lavonte David. I know he's a little bit older, 31, but the job he did on Kelsey in that Super Bowl, I mean, it was rarely seen. I mean, you've seen Kelsey destroy teams left and right during that playoff run and during their run in Kansas City, but the job he was able to do, man, made me prove to me that he can go out there and cover with the best of them. So perfect world, I would go Lavonte David. But what I would look forward to in that, like you said, McCray, I don't think there's going to be a lot of three linebackers on the field. They do a lot more nickel. So I would go with that hybrid linebacker, safety, nickel guy out of Notre Dame. I don't want to butcher his name because I don't want to say what I think his name is, so I don't want to butcher it, but they got a linebacker, safety kind of hybrid guy coming out of Notre Dame who I think will fit perfect in that system.
A part of me wonders, what if they'd kept a Damian Wilson? And you could have paid him decent money and kept a guy like that on your football team. And Kansas City clearly figured out what to do with him and how to use him, and Steve Spagnuolo helped, as a defensive coordinator, plugged him in the proper places, and they helped win a championship for Kansas City and made 2 Super Bowls. So I think about that player as somebody that you draft, on a third day. Look at what they got out of Hitchens. I just don't think that person's on the roster right now, but I think that's what they've got to do. And they have done a decent job as an organization of drafting linebackers, despite some people who are frustrated with Jaylen Smith. When you think about what Jaylen Smith was as an injured guy, and the fact that this guy ended up making a Pro Bowl in his career, that's a success. Leighton Vander Esch, a guy they drafted in the first round who ended up having a Pro Bowl, making a Pro Bowl. So they have an understanding of a linebacker, and I think they'll be okay in terms of trying to figure that out through free agency or the draft. But right now, that player's not on the team. Opposite of Diggs at the cornerback spot, where are we going, guys?
The simple ideal where I'm going with Church's guy, my man Jaylen Ramsey. Ideal, throw him on the roster, and we automatically are a much better team. And that makes it really, really easy for us. But since we're not, you guys are gonna kill me for this, but you're right, Church, man. That draft pick at cornerback, that man, I gotta go with him. I would go with I would go 2 rookies out there. I think that's our opportunity to get better at the cornerback and remain young, so we have those guys on our roster for a long time. Hopefully we get lucky enough like we did with Diggs, and he falls to the second round after we pick our offensive tackle.
This is true. Perfect world. I got to go with the dog, Jaylen Ramsey. I think he's the best corner in the National Football League right now. But overall, I think I'm going to go with your boy from LSU, Pat Peterson, man. I think if we can get him on like a team-friendly deal, I think he can still run. I think he can still run a little bit. And I think he would be, if he came on this team, he would be the best corner on our team for at least 1 year. So I got to go Pat P on that one and see what we can do with that.
Okay, Church. Okay, I'm with you. I see you. I see you bringing the purple and gold to the Players Lounge.
Ramsey's your gold standard rolling right now there at the cornerback spot. I went with J.C. Horn, the corner out of South Carolina. And I think back to what Bill Walsh did to build up his 49ers team that ended up winning Super Bowl 16. They ended up drafting Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, and Carlton Williamson, and grew up all three guys. And they ended up being that back end for the Niners, which ended up winning Super Bowl 16 and Super Bowl 19. And we saw Ronnie Lott is now a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So that's what I would do. I would look at the youth and say, okay, I'll do that. Jimmy Johnson went with youth, with Larry Brown and Kevin Pup Smith, and he grew those guys up. Now, they were also helped because they had a good front. Jimmy built a good front. But that you can win with some youthful guys in the back. They're going to make some mistakes, but you can work with it a little bit. And that's why I think that free safety, somebody that Quinn can trust who can run his system is important to make sure you can help those young corners out. What about the defensive tackle spot? Got Nevin Gallimore as a starter here. Who'd you like to see on the other side of him?
I think we can all agree that Aaron Donald will be the guy in a perfect world. That would be who it is. But if not, I think we're going to go look at Ndamukong Suh.
Yes,
he's been able to make an impact, pretty much on every team that he's been on, and he brings that nastiness to the defensive line that we need. So that'll be a guy that I'm looking at.
Yeah, to me, I'm with you on that one. Definitely, Aaron Donald, Hall of Fame, first ballot without a question. So he'd be in there. But since this is the real world, I'd have to go to Ndamukong Suh. I mean, we've seen this guy. He's a mercenary out there. He goes for the highest bidder in free agency, signs maybe a 1 or maybe a 2-year deal with a team, but and he gives them their services. And for me, this guy is nasty. He gets under people's skin. It don't matter if you're a Hall of Fame quarterback or not. I mean, we saw what he was doing to Aaron Rodgers during the playoffs. He was talking all types of noise, and that's the type of guy you want on your defensive line. That's the type of guy you want on your defense, somebody who's nasty and just doesn't care about anything. And that's the type of guy I want on my defensive line, especially in the middle.
You remember who Suh replaced there in Tampa?
Gerald McCoy.
Exactly. So, and who ended up getting Gerald McCoy's services?
No,
good old Cowboys.
Nobody got his services.
Cowboys bet that lot on him, and that dude couldn't even get out of training camp. So, let's not make that mistake again. If you're the Cowboys, let's not do that again. If you want to go, Suh would be good. And a guy who could possibly help the younger players, Tristan Hill and Nevin Gallimore, become good players. Hey, all right, look, that's we're 6 minutes over our time here, so let's let Chris Beam, our producer, get on his way. Fun time, as always, chop it up right here on the Players Lounge with Danny McCray, Barry Church, 2 former Dallas Cowboys safeties, Newy Scruggs, longtime Cowboys reporter. We'll talk to you next Friday right here on the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!